We have Steve Merrill here from WagerTalk.com to talk about Friday night's matchup. We got Florida State here, +3 at Duke, over under 42.5. What's your thoughts here, Steve?
Well, TJ, I mean, Florida State's been a fascinating team to handicap this season because they were a top 10 team when the season started. They lose their first two games as double-digit favorites. And then, as is often the case when handicapping sports, you have to start factoring in that emotional aspect of things. At some point, we know they're going to have to over-adjust the line after a terrible start. The question is, are we starting to see that line value now by, taking Florida State? Can we trust them? And I'm not sure that that situation is here yet. In fact, my 10,000 game simulation through my database has Duke winning this on average by 6.5 points Friday night. So the current line of -3 is not high enough for me to trust Florida State. Their season has been over for a while. It's not like they've stepped up and started to play better. They're still 1-5 straight up. Now they have covered 2 of those last 3 games, but they're still just 2-4 against the number. And I think Clemson was the spotlight game. We talked about that here on the team channel a few weeks ago. And by the way, that line went from about 15 as high as 16.5 at kickoff, and they lost by exactly 16. So you can kind of call that a 2-4 point spread record, but they could be 1-5 if you played Florida State too early in the week. So they barely got the cover at the end there on the closing line, and now they're off their bye week. I think that was their bowl game. At 1-5 straight up, Clemson in town. Now they're traveling to Duke. I can't imagine they care too much about this game, especially with Miami of Florida on deck. The other game they might get up for is next week, Miami of Florida. Doesn't look like a good spot to trust Florida State. They have absolutely no rushing attack. This is a team that was ranked top 10, but they have not been able to run the ball all season. In fact, they've had less than 100 yards rushing in 5 of their 6 games this year. And I would want nothing to do with them here. And once again, I do think there's actually some line value at -3 with Duke. And keep in mind, that's a very key number. About 8 to 9% of the time, a favorite's going to win by exactly 3 points. So Duke looks like the play here.
Yeah, very interesting game. If you guys want more of Steve Merrill's takes at WagerTalk.com, you can get Steve's best bets as well as we have the Patreon for Mark Rogers Patreon and the Voice of College Football bets tier for YouTube. You can get his under the radar pick, and it is a winner.
College football is even more exciting with some action on the line. And the games are even better when you're cashing in. And the Voice of College Football is the place to be to get the greatest value. Let's start with my picks. 75% against the money line, 58% against the spread. I've got a 40-year track record. In fact, in 2023, at $100 played per game, you would have netted over $9,300. And guess what? I'm just the warm-up act. Steve Merrill, our ace in the hole, show stopper from Wager Talk. 6 years with the Voice of College Football, over 30 years in the industry. Steve gives us analysis on all the big games, but you can't miss Steve's weekly under-the-radar pick, which went 21-5 against the spread the last 2 seasons. I repeat, 21-5 against the spread. You also get picks from some of our top analysts here at the Voice of College Football, including Steve Dace and Matt Zemek. Become a YouTube channel member or Patreon member for just $99 per month. Go to the main channel on YouTube, click join, and select the betting tier. Do the same thing on Patreon. Make 2024 a winner now.